Imagine stepping into the heart of the UAE's booming tourism scene, uh, transforming maybe a spare room or even your whole apartment into a thriving income stream through Airbnb. Sounds pretty amazing.
It really does sound appealing.
But the reality, as you might guess, involves a very specific set of rules and some really interesting cultural things you need to know about.
Definitely unique to the region.
So this deep dive is basically your blueprint for becoming a successful and, this is key, compliant Airbnb host in the UAE. We're going to unpack the legal stuff, the market, and the best ways to do things specifically here.
Yeah, get right into the specifics.
Our mission today is to pull out the absolute must-knows from guides like the UAE Airbnb Subletting Handbook, a host's guide.
Yeah.
It's packed with everything, regulations, even like negotiation tips.
A really comprehensive resource.
Our goal is to give you a clear step-by-step roadmap for this. Cut through the noise, highlight the surprising bits, and give you the crucial info you need, fast, for a venture that's, successful and doesn't get you fined.
Penalty-free is always good.
Exactly. So to kick things off, why is Airbnb such a big deal in the UAE right now? And what's the absolute baseline knowledge you need before you even start thinking about listing?
Well, the simple answer is demand. I mean, the UAE's tourism industry is just massive, right? Millions of visitors every year.
Huge numbers.
Which creates this enormous need for flexible, short-term places to stay. So for potential hosts like you, that translates into, well, significant income potential, especially in those really popular areas.
Like downtown or the marina.
Exactly. And you also get incredible flexibility. You choose when the property is available, use it yourself sometimes, maybe switch to long-term rent if things change.
That's a nice perk.
Plus, platforms like Airbnb, they give you this amazing global reach. Your listing is seen by people all over the world.
Okay, that sounds fantastic, but every opportunity has its challenges, doesn't it? What are the immediate hurdles someone needs to be ready for?
Absolutely. The first, and honestly the most critical, is regulatory compliance. Navigating all the legal hoops, getting the right approvals, it can feel a bit like a maze if you don't know the way.
Sounds daunting.
It can be. Then there's the actual work of property management. Keeping high standards, handling bookings, guest service. It takes real time and effort.
It's not passive income then?
Not entirely, no. And finally, because it is so popular, the market's getting competitive. You really need to keep improving your place and your service to stand out.
You mentioned regulatory compliance first. That sounds like the big one. What are the absolute non-negotiables, the legal basics you have to get right from the very beginning?
Great question, because this is where things get serious. The absolute most crucial legal point, totally non-negotiable, is landlord consent.
Okay.
Under UAE law, specifically Article 24 of Law Number 26 of 2007, you must get written permission from your landlord before you even think about subletting.
Not just a phone call then, written permission.
Written permission. It's a strict legal requirement, not just a suggestion. Beyond that, every single property has to be registered with the Department of Tourism and Commerce Marketing, the DTCM.
DTCM, right.
Think of it as your operating license. This means meeting specific quality and safety standards, paying annual fees, and of course you've got to follow all the local rules, noise limits, especially in apartment buildings.
Yeah, neighbors.
Exactly. Guest limits too, and absolutely no unlicensed parties or anything like that.
And what happens if someone tries to, fly under the radar, skip these steps?
Well, that's where you can get into real trouble. Operating an unlicensed short-term rental can lead to pretty hefty fines. We're talking potentially up to AED 5,000.
Wow, 5,000 dirhams. That's significant.
It is. It's not just a slap on the wrist. It shows the UAE is serious about its tourism standards. It protects guests, protects the city's reputation. So understanding this right at the start is, honestly, your best way to avoid costly mistakes later.
Okay, so that paints a very clear picture of the rules.
Okay.
Now, the big question for a lot of people listening is probably, how do you even start looking for that perfect property? And then, how do you tackle that first hurdle, talking to your landlord?
Right, this is the exciting part, the strategic hunt. First up, research. You need to figure out the best areas. Focus on places tourists love, like you said, downtown Dubai, the Marina, JBR, the Palm.
Usual suspects.
Yeah. Or if you're thinking business travelers, look at DIFC or Business Bay. Then check the local amenities. Is there easy access to the metro, shops, restaurants? That stuff really matters to guests.
Makes sense.
And here's a really crucial tip. Always check the specific building policies. Some residential towers flat out prohibit short-term rentals. You can't just assume it's okay.
Good point. So you find a potential building in a great area. How do you know if the apartment itself is right? And what about figuring out demand?
Good question. Understanding market demand is absolutely key. You need to look at the trends. When's peak season? Hint.
Yep.
The cooler winter months, November to March, that's prime time.
Right.
Check occupancy rates for other Airbnbs nearby. See what your competition is charging. And be clear on who you're targeting. Tourists, business folks, longer stays.
Okay. And when you're actually looking at an apartment,
When you're inside, evaluate everything. Is it structurally sound? Does it have good Wi-Fi, decent AC, a proper kitchen? Safety features are vital smoke detectors, good locks. Think about the layout. Does it feel spacious, welcoming?
and the paperwork.
Yes. Check the lease very carefully for any clauses about subletting.
Yeah.
And run the numbers, calculate all your costs to make sure it's actually going to be profitable. You know, it might even be worth talking to a real estate agent who knows rentals, or even a lawyer if you're unsure about the lease.
That's a lot to consider. But you keep coming back to the landlord's consent being non-negotiable. That sounds like a potentially tricky conversation. How do you approach that effectively?
It is delicate, but vital. Getting that written consent, like we said, it's legally required by Article 24. But it also just builds trust and transparency. It protects you and the landlord.
Well, what's the actual document called?
It's called a No Objection Certificate, or NOC. It's a formal document, signed by the landlord, giving you permission. It needs to have everyone's full names, contact info, the property details, a clear statement allowing subletting, how long it's valid for, and any specific conditions the landlord wants to add.
Okay.
You can find templates online, which really helps make sure you cover everything.
Yeah, how do you actually ask for it? How do you sell the idea to the landlord?
Preparation is key. Go in with a clear proposal, highlight the benefits for them. Maybe it's guaranteed rent. Maybe you promise to keep the place in top condition. Be ready to answer their concerns. What about noise? What about damage?
Yeah, those would be my worries if I were the landlord.
Exactly. Present a professional plan. Show them how you'll screen guests, your house rules, your maintenance schedule. You could even offer a little something extra, maybe slightly higher rent, or even a small percentage of your Airbnb income.
A revenue share. Interesting.
It can be an incentive. But whatever you agree, always get legal advice to make sure the NOC and any side agreement are totally watertight. Protect yourself.
Right, makes sense.
So, okay, you've found the place, you've charmed the landlord, you have the NOC. Now what? How do you actually get the official green light from the authorities? We mentioned the DTCM. What are their rules exactly, and how does that registration work? This feels like the main gate you have to pass through.
Exactly. This is the official gateway. The legal framework, it really hinges on that Dubai Law No. 26 of 2007, Article 24, Mandatory Landlord Permission. Then you have the DTCM, the Dubai Tourism and Commerce Marketing. They're the ones to regulate short-term rentals. You have to comply with their rules to list legally.
Okay.
And there's also Administrative Resolution Number 1 of 2020. That spells out the details for holiday home registration, including how they classify properties either standard or deluxe.
Standard or deluxe, what's the difference there quickly? Just so people can picture it. Sure. Think standard as, clean, comfortable, well-equipped, meets all the basic safety and quality checks. Deluxe steps it up. It might mean premium furniture, maybe a private pool, maybe amazing views, high-end services included. It's about offering that extra level of luxury.
Got it. So what does the DTCM actually require for registration?
Okay, for the DTCM guidelines, you'll need to submit your personal details, Emirates ID, passport copy, a recent DWA bill. That's your utility bill.
Not older than 3 months, usually.
That's right, typically not older than 3 months, plus a copy of the property's title deed. And, crucially, that mandatory NOC from your landlord, but it has to be on the official DTCM form.
An official form. Okay.
Yes, and there's an annual registration fee. The DTCM also checks that the property meets specific safety and quality standards. That's part of the classification. And be prepared, they do conduct regular inspections. If you're not compliant, you can face fines or other penalties.
So it's not just getting registered, it's staying compliant. What are the day-to-day rules hosts and guests need to know?
These are the critical details for everyday operation. Guests must stick to local noise rules, especially during quiet hours. That's generally 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. Really important in apartment buildings.
Yeah, definitely.
The number of guests and visitors is regulated too. Usually it's a max of 6 visitors per unit, depends on the size. And here's a really key one. Visitors are not allowed to stay over between midnight and 8 a.m.
Okay, that's very specific. Good to know.
Very specific. Also, you need to know about the tourism Durham levy. It's a small fee charged per night on short-term rentals. It varies based on whether your place is standard or deluxe, and the money goes towards promoting tourism.
Right.
And just to reiterate, operating without that license, that can lead to those big fines, up to AED 5,000. They're serious about upholding standards.
It definitely sounds like the registration isn't just red tape. It's about protecting the UAE's reputation as a top tourist spot. So walk us through the actual steps for registering with DTCM. How does it work?
Exactly. Getting this right protects your investment and your reputation. So first, gather all those documents we mentioned. Emirates ID, passport, recent DEWA bill, title deed, and that vital landlord's NOC on the DTCM form. Just a quick note. If you end up managing more than 8 places or doing it as a full-on business, you'll also need a trade license from the DED, the Department of Economic Development.
Okay, good distinction.
The process itself is mostly online now. You go to the DTCM's Holiday Home Registration portal, create an account, fill out the application, upload all your documents, then you pay the annual fee and submit everything.
And then you wait.
And then you wait. Approval can take a few winks, and it might involve an inspection of your property. Once you're approved, you get your confirmation, and you're officially registered. But remember, it's an annual thing. You have to renew it, submit updated docs, pay the fee again before it expires. And those periodic inspections mean you have to keep the standards up. Can't just register and forget.
Right, ongoing effort. Okay, so you've navigated the DTCM maze, you've got the approval. Now the fun part starts, right? Making your property irresistible to guests. How do you make it appealing, safe, and set clear expectations?
This is where you really make it shine. For furnishing and decorating, think practical but stylish. Durable, easy-to-clean furniture is a must. But invest in comfort, quality mattress, nice bedding, fluffy towels. That makes a huge difference.
Little luxuries.
Exactly. Create an inviting vibe. Maybe a neutral color scheme with some pops of color. Good lighting is key. And make sure you have all the essentials. Fast Wi-Fi, good AC, a well-equipped kitchen, basic toiletries. Extras like a coffee machine or an iron are always appreciated. And try to maximize the space you have. Smart storage, good layout.
Safety and security must be top of mind too, surely. Inviting strangers in.
Absolutely vital. You need smoke detectors in key spots. Fire extinguishers easily accessible, especially near the kitchen or exits. A well-stocked first aid kit is essential. Secure locks on all doors and windows, obviously. Smart locks can be really convenient for check-ins.
What about security cameras? I see those sometimes.
Okay, cameras are tricky. If you install them, they must only be at entrances or in common areas, never in private spaces like bedrooms or bathrooms. And you must clearly state that you have them in your house rules and your listing. Transparency is key. Also, provide emergency numbers, police, fire, medical, and mark exits clearly.
And those house rules themselves, how do you lay down the law without sounding like a drill sergeant?
Yeah, the balance. Your house rules are super important for setting expectations. Be clear about checking out times. Reiterate the quiet hours, 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. Spell out the visitor policy again, max 6 visitors, and absolutely no overnight stays for them between midnight and 8 a.m.
That midnight to 8 a.m. rule seems really important.
It is. It's often strictly enforced in buildings. Also, be clear on smoking, pets, and prohibited activities, no parties, no illegal stuff. Gently remind guests about local laws, noise, alcohol rules, and mention the tourism dirham levy so they're not surprised. You want your description to be welcoming, enjoy breathtaking views, but also include the key rules politely.
Speaking of descriptions, how do you make your actual Airbnb listing stand out? It's more than just text, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Your listing is everything. First, high-quality photos are not negotiable. Use a good camera, shoot in bright, natural daylight, get different angles, close-ups of nice features. And here's a pro tip. Your place must be sparkling clean and tidy for the photos. Stage it a bit, make it look appealing.
Don't over-edit the photos, though, right?
Exactly. Enhance brightness, maybe colors, but don't make it look completely different from reality. That just leads to disappointed guests. Then, the description. Highlight your unique selling points, great view. Luxury pool. Near the metro. List all the amenities. Describe the space, the vibe. Explain check-in, how much interaction they can expect from you. Mention nearby attractions. And weave in those key house rules again.
And pricing. How do you get that right?
Pricing is crucial. Research what similar places in your area are charging. Be prepared to adjust your rates based on the season higher during the peak winter months, maybe lower in the summer.
Makes sense.
Make sure your price covers all your costs, rent, bills, cleaning, maintenance, and leaves you with a profit. You can use Airbnb's smart pricing tools or other dynamic pricing software. And think about offering deals, maybe a discount for weekly stays or last-minute bookings, like maybe 500 AD a night normally, 700 in peak season. 10% off for a week, something like that.
Okay, so you're set up, listed, priced right, ready for guests. Now, the crucial part, ensuring every guest has such a great experience they rush to leave a five-star review. It's all about managing that journey, from the moment they book until after they leave.
It absolutely is. Managing those bookings and communications well is key. When you get an inquiry, try to respond fast within an hour is ideal. Use automated replies if needed for common questions. Give clear, detailed answers. Maybe have an FAQ ready.
Is it okay to ask guests questions before accepting?
Yes, definitely. It's smart to politely screen guests, ask about their trip, group size, why they're visiting. It's also a good time to gently reiterate key rules. Once you confirm, send a nice personalized message.
How do you make sure they actually read and understand the rules without overwhelming them?
Good question. It's about timely communication. Send a welcome message before they arrive with check-in details, Wi-Fi info, maybe some local tips. And yes, the main rules again. Have a house manual digital or printed inside the apartment with appliance instructions, emergency contacts.
And just keep reminding them about the important stuff.
Gently, yes. Especially quiet hours, that visitor policy max 6, none between midnight and 8 a.m. and no parties. Encourage respect for neighbors and local customs. For check-in and check-out, make it smooth. Offer options like self-check-in with a lockbox. Clear instructions are vital. A little welcome guide or basket is a nice touch. Before checkout, send instructions on tidying up, keys, etc. And always ask for feedback. And crucially, be reachable 24/7 for emergencies. Handling issues calmly and professionally is key to good reviews.
It really strikes me that the guest experience here isn't just about the apartment itself. It's so much about that proactive communication, anticipating what they might need, especially in a place like the UAE where hospitality is such a big deal.
Precisely. That service element is huge. To deliver that excellent experience first, cleanliness is paramount. Get professional cleaners between every stay. Schedule regular deep cleans, stock essentials, toilet paper, soap, shampoo, cleaning stuff. A little welcome basket with water, coffee, tea, maybe some dates. That goes a long way.
Nice touch.
And keep on top of maintenance. Check plumbing, AC, appliances regularly, fix things fast. Have a list of reliable repair people ready to call.
And what happens when things inevitably go wrong? A guest has a complaint. How do you handle that gracefully?
It happens. The key is responsiveness. Keep communicating, check in mid-stay to see if everything's okay. If there is an issue, respond super quickly, ideally within the hour. Offer real solutions. If it's a major problem that affects their stay, consider offering something, a partial refund, a gift card, a discount on their next visit. It shows you care.
And actively ask for feedback.
Yes. Encourage feedback, good or bad. It helps you improve. And then, politely ask them to leave a review. Those reviews are gold dust. Good reviews massively influence bookings, boost your ranking. Always respond to reviews, thank guests. If you get negative feedback, address it professionally. Acknowledge their point, apologize if needed, explain what you've done to fix it. Something like, thanks for your feedback, guest name. So sorry about the issue with X. We've now done Y to make sure it doesn't happen again. Shows future guests you're proactive.
Okay, this is clearly more than just renting out a room. It's running a proper business with real finances and ongoing legal stuff to manage. What do hosts need to know to run a smart, profitable, and compliant operation long-term?
Absolutely. Think like a business owner. For finances, set up your payment preferences on Airbnb, direct deposit, PayPal, whatever works. Be aware of currency conversion fees if you're getting paid internationally. Consider asking for a security deposit. Airbnb handles holding and returning it.
And managing the money side.
Track everything. Keep records of all your expenses, rent, utilities, cleaning, repairs, those initial furnishing costs. Create a budget. Compare your income to your outgoings so you know your actual profit margin. Always have an emergency fund set aside for unexpected repairs. And think about reinvesting some profits back into the property to keep it fresh or add new amenities.
And the dreaded T word, taxes.
Ah, yes, taxes. Crucial. In Dubai, your short-term rental income is subject to local levies, primarily that tourism dirham levy per night. Now, the big advantage in the UAE is there's currently no income tax for individuals.
That's huge.
It is. However, if you scale up and run it as a formal business with multiple properties, different rules might apply. You might need that trade license we mentioned. Also, VAT value-added tax. If your total annual income from this goes over a certain threshold, you might need to register for VAT, charge it to guests, and file regular returns.
So something to keep an eye on as you grow.
Definitely. The bottom line is keep meticulous financial records of all income and expenses. Using accounting software can make this much easier.
So staying compliant isn't just about that initial registration. It's an ongoing thing, right? How do you stay on top of it all and avoid problems down the line?
Exactly. Ongoing compliance is just as important. The rules are there to protect everyone. So first, stay updated. Check the DTCM website regularly. Look out for official announcements. Things can change. Second, renew your registration on time. Every year. Don't let it lapse. Third, keep maintaining those property standards, safety equipment working, keeping the place up to its classification level, standard or deluxe. Be ready for those DTCM inspections. Doing your own regular checks helps. Maybe even get a professional inspection done periodically.
What about potential issues like noisy guests or neighbor complaints?
Yeah, managing those is part of compliance too. Enforce your house rules strictly, especially noise and visitor policies, to keep neighbors happy. Address any guest complaints quickly and professionally. If things get really complicated, don't hesitate to get legal advice. And always remember that. Fine for operating without a license up to 5,000 AED. Staying compliant avoids all that hassle.
Okay. Now, for the really ambitious listeners out there, what if they want to scale this up? Go from one successful Airbnb to maybe managing several. How do you approach that in the UAE?
That's taking it to the next level. Scaling requires serious planning. First, more market research, find other high-demand areas. Choose properties that you know will meet DTCM standards. Figure out financing, savings, loans, maybe investors. And remember, each new property needs its own landlord NOC and its own DTCM registration.
It multiplies the paperwork.
It does. And you probably can't manage it all yourself anymore. You'll need to build a team, reliable cleaners, maintenance people, maybe someone to handle guest communication, train them well, set up clear procedures, SOPs. Using property management software becomes essential then. Things like Guesty or Hostaway can coordinate bookings, cleaning schedules across multiple properties.
Or you could outsource it.
Exactly. You could hire a professional property management company. They handle everything: marketing, guest screening, cleaning, maintenance, emergencies. It costs money, obviously, usually a percentage of your revenue, but it saves you a massive amount of time and hassle. If you go that route, research them carefully. Look for experience, good reviews, check exactly what services they cover. Companies like Housed or Guest Ready operate in this space.
So lots of options for growth. To wrap things up a bit, what can you, our listener, learn from people who've already made a success of this in the UAE? Can we look at some examples and pull out the key lessons?
Definitely. Let's take Sarah, who listed her luxury apartment in downtown Dubai. She really invested in top-notch professional photos. Her big focus was exceptional hospitality, personalized welcomes, a custom guide to the area. The result: high occupancy, premium rates, fantastic reviews praising her attention to detail.
So quality and service were her keys.
Absolutely. Then there's Ahmed with his Marina View place. His strategy was more about sharp pricing. He constantly watched the market, used dynamic pricing tools to adjust his rates. He was also super responsive with communication. Guests loved the location, but also consistently mentioned his great hospitality in reviews. High occupancy followed.
Interesting. Slightly different approaches, but both successful. What are the core takeaways then?
I think there are a few clear lessons. One, invest in quality. Property presentation, comfort, cleanliness, it pays off. Two, prioritize the guest experience. Personal touches, fast, helpful communication. Three, be smart about pricing. Do your research. Use the tools available. 4, leverage technology for managing bookings, automating messages. 5, compliance is non-negotiable. Stay informed, follow the rules, do regular checks. Nail these, and you're on the right track.
Okay, so you've now got a really deep understanding of what it takes to set up and run a compliant, successful Airbnb here in the UAE. We've covered everything from finding the place, talking to the landlord, navigating the DTCM, prepping the property, managing guests, handling the business side, even thinking about scaling up. Hopefully, this deep dive has given you a real shortcut, way more insight than just a quick Google search.
Hopefully demystified it a bit.
Exactly. So here's something to think about as we finish. Given how much emphasis there is in the UAE on local laws, cultural norms, and those really high service expectations, how could a future host, like maybe you, not just comply, but actually innovate? How could you leverage these unique aspects to create an even more authentic, maybe culturally richer guest experience? Something that goes beyond just providing a bed and turns your guests into people who tell amazing stories about their visit to the UAE.
That's a great question. Moving beyond just hosting to creating real experiences.
Something to ponder as you plan your own Airbnb journey here.